Good day, everybody. Chris Herline here of REAP Financial coming to you with this week's Wealth Report. Today is Friday, November 22nd, 2024. As we approach year end here, I want to give you a little bit of guidance around some tax-savvy ways to make your giving go further this year. A lot of families, they give charitably throughout the year, but year end is where we see kind of that rush to get things done. And there's a lot of ways that you can give to causes you believe in, to make an impact that can save you big in taxes. Before we do that, I just want to mention that we've survived the election, and it's good to see that the markets have responded favorably as we expected. And again, I know for many of you, it's one of those things, comes around every 4 years. It's a lot of anticipation, a lot of concern in many cases as to what party's going to win and how that's going to impact your portfolio. And I'm just going to tell you, as I've told you in months leading up to the election, that we don't let the election season dictate our investment decisions. We're going to be watching things close as we head into the end of the year here and into 2025, but we are cautiously optimistic on the markets. Now let's go ahead and dive into some tax-savvy ways to make your giving go further this year. There's a lot of different ways that people give. Maybe it's monthly to a charity you believe in. Maybe you give, once a year. Again, just be thinking outside the box a little bit about how you give and where you give. And one of the ways that we like to advise clients to give is not just cash, not just by cutting a check, but maybe consider giving long-term appreciated stocks or securities rather than cash. And the cool thing about donating stocks is it allows you to donate these directly to public charities. And if this security, your stock, your mutual fund, if it's been held for more than a year, then this fair market value, the amount of that security, can be itemized and deducted on your federal income tax return. And the amount deductible in a single year is up to 30% of your adjusted gross income. So it can be a sizable deduction for you, and it allows you not to have to sell the stock, create a capital gain for yourself, and then give charitably. That's the problem. A lot of people raise cash and then they give charitably when they could have avoided that tax and then given the security directly and saved in tax. And then lastly, if you have mutual funds out there, most of our families, we don't invest in mutual funds at REAP Financial typically, but a lot of you may have investment accounts outside of REAP Financial, some brokerage accounts. Just remember, those mutual fund distributions at the year end can be a surprise for many. It can create significant capital gains, and a lot of times you weren't even expecting it. So a potential strategy for giving your mutual funds is to donate these funds before the ex-dividend date, and that would reduce the number of shares in the fund, netting you a smaller taxable distribution on the pay date. So, again, consider giving highly appreciated stocks. These would be funds held in your brokerage accounts or non-qualified accounts, not your IRA accounts. I've talked about this over the year, but want to remind you that you can optimize your giving with a donor-advised fund. A donor-advised fund is, just think about it like a charitable savings account, and it allows you to make an irrevocable charitable contribution to your donor-advised fund. And you get an immediate tax deduction in the year you do that. But it's not like you're relinquishing the gift right away. This stays in your donor-advised fund. This can be held at Fidelity. It can be invested how you see fit. It can be in money market, stocks, equities, and more. And this money can grow over time. And then at some point when you're ready, you can give directly out of your donor-advised fund to any charity of your choice. And Fidelity's got a great feature and option where you can actually submit the request online and they'll cut the check for you right out of the fund. Be aware that these dollars can no longer be used personally, but they can roll over year as they continue to accumulate and grow, meaning you may be able to give even a larger gift in years to come. The reason I like the donor advised fund is it allows people that are, expecting a large tax year. Maybe you got a bonus at work. Maybe you had to exercise some stock. Let's say maybe you're doing a Roth Conversion, like many of our clients are doing right now. Giving to your donor advised fund can allow you to give a larger amount maybe than you normally would in a given year, but you can give that larger amount to your donor advised fund without having to give that large amount to a single or multiple charities all in one year. So a quick example is if you give $10,000 a year normally, you had a large taxable event, well, maybe we bundle up, let's say 3 years. 3 years of what you normally give. So that would be $30,000 in this case. You donate that to your fund, you get to take the tax deduction on the $30,000, offsetting, tax liabilities you're facing that year. And then you can give out of that charitable savings or that donor advised fund account in years to come. Great strategy. Discuss this with your advisor. We'd be happy to show you how to get one established at Fidelity very easily. Another tax-savvy strategy would be maybe considering an offset strategy with rebalancing. Probably heard or done through the years periodic portfolio rebalancing, and this can help keep your investments aligned with your risk tolerance and really keep you on a track to achieve your financial goals. Oftentimes the tax consequences, they can be extensive because rebalancing often means you're selling appreciated stocks or securities, and then that creates capital gains. By aligning your charitable intent and your financial planning decisions, you can consider donating maybe a portion of the securities that you would otherwise sell to help reduce the taxable consequences, all while rebalancing the portfolio. So I know many of you don't give charitably. You're retired, you don't have that paycheck coming anymore. But again, this kind of goes back to being able to give stocks and equities to public charities. This is another great way to do it. Also, those of you that are over, 70 and a half, and let's say you have a required minimum distribution, don't forget that you can do the qualified charitable distribution. The qualified charitable distribution allows you to give all or a portion of your required minimum distribution all the way up to $105,000 a year. I know that's a big number, but let's just say you've got a $25,000 RMD and you're already giving charitably, and you're going to give, let's say, $10,000 this year to a charity or charities of your choice. Well, what most people do is they just take it out of their bank cash or sell something to raise the cash. And again, there may be a more efficient way to do that. If you had a $25,000 required distribution in the example I gave, and you send $10,000 from your IRA to the charity of your choice, and then distribute the additional $15,000 to yourself, that's a total of $25,000, and that would ultimately satisfy your RMD on the year in this example. And the reason it's better than a charitable deduction is because you're actually removing $10,000 off the bottom line of your 1040 come tax time in this example. So it's shaving income off, which is better than a charitable deduction. And lastly, for those of you doing Roth conversions right now during this season, consider how a Roth conversion may allow you to help causes you believe in, your friends and family members that have charities they believe in. Maybe you want to give to those. But again, the mindset is, you've got to pay taxes on your conversion. So if you're able to send some of those dollars to charities to help offset your tax bill, oftentimes people like that idea and they get real charitable all of a sudden. So that being said, we still got time left in the year to consult about charitable strategies for those of you that are charitably inclined. Never hesitate to reach out to your advisor. As always, we appreciate your confidence, and we'll be back with you in the coming weeks. Until then, all the best.